What's up YouTube, Dave here from Zephyr Wargames, bringing you the test down video for the Dark Magician Girl deck profile that I did for you guys the other day. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do our standard test hands, 3 going first to show how defensive we can be, and 3 going second showing how offensive we can be. It also gives you guys kind of the lowdown of how the deck interacts and how the deck kind of plays and the combos you make. Now, one little note that I have made between now and the deck profile had added Illusion Magic. Now, this is the card that you tribute a spellcaster and add up to 2 Dark Magicians from your grave or deck to hand. Now, the reason I've done this is through testing. There's kind of been a couple of times when I'm like, I need a Dark Magician hand. I don't have an Apprentice. I don't have a Legion. The spell card would really work. So I've put it in here to kind of see and show you, if we get the opportunity, how it works. So our first test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's very interesting. So if we start off by pitching our spellbook of secrets and going straight away and searching out ourselves a spellbook of knowledge. Now you've got kind of 2 options here. We can end our hand with 2 Dark Magicians, but that's kind of pointless at this moment in time. We've got a +3, and we can put an Apprentice Illusion on board. So it's entirely up to us how we want to do this. So I would personally say, normal summon our Chocolate Magician Girl, use Chocolate Magician Girl's effect to pitch Legion, and draw into, ooh, Eye of Timaeus. That's pretty cool. We can then use Spellbook of Knowledge's effect to get rid of the Chocolate Girl and draw into 2 more. Oh, even more, that Legion would have been beautiful. We can now activate Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl's effect to pitch Secrets, if we want to. Secrets is kind of like the dead card now. So by pitching that, it then gives us our Dark Magician's hand when Apprentice is normal summoned. Now, the only downside with this hand at this moment in time is, depending on what our next draw is, so what we'll do is we will play through this. If our opponent clears our board, we're in a bit of a sticky situation because we can't get either of those cards to board. So it really depends on what we draw into next. So we're going to pass our turn, and then whatever happens. If they clear Apprentice off, that's fine. And then our next draw will be an Apprentice. So that actually helps out massively. Now the reason that helps out massively is, if we do this right, we go Apprentice Illusion, pitch Dark Magician, effect to search out Dark Magician, whatever he is. Then, I know it sounds really weird, but you would tribute off Apprentice Illusion and go into Dark Magician Girl. Now, if Dark Magician Girl is already on 23 because there's a Dark Magician Grave, we're then going to activate Sage Stone and special summon a Dark Magician from our deck. So our third and final Dark Magician from deck. There we go. And he is now on board. Right, we now have the ability to... Obviously, we've got Eye of Timaeus in play. So we've got the ability, Dark Magician Girl is now obviously still on 23, but by using Eye of Timaeus we can get this to grave and we can put Dark Magician Girl to 26. So our options now is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, or we've got Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight. Our other options of course are Amulet Dragon and of course Dark Paladin. So if we're playing a Dragon's deck, I'd probably say go Dark Paladin, but with our spells at the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time we use Eye of Timaeus, it's 5. So we're going to be turning Amulet Dragon into a 34 attack, depending on what our opponent also has in their graveyard. So that's an option there for you. Your other option is you can go into Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, send Dark Magician, and pitch a card off your opponent's field. But in the scenario, because he is the brand new one, we will Eye of Timaeus, our Dark Magician, going into our Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, means Dark Magician Girl is now 26, and then this guy's 3k, so we've got a bit of a beat board going there. So that's it for our first hand. Obviously we played through it a little bit. I showed you kind of the drag out or the draws that you can kind of get from the deck, and obviously we got quite lucky by top decking that Apprentice. But if we had top deck like a Legion or a Chocolate Girl, we could have then extended our field a little bit more as well. Anyway, let's do our second test hand going first, and our next test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very interesting. Now again, you could use Spellbook to deck fin, but you're only going to be deck finning by 1 card. You can use Circle to see what you're going to be going into if you do want to secret up, But or you can normal summon Rod. Now, like I said before, we've got pretty much everything we need. Reasoning will be a very, very interesting one as well. So if we go with Spellbook of Secrets, and we'll search out anyway, our 3 would have been that. Oh, there we go, get the glare off. So we're going to activate our Spellbook of Secrets and get our knowledge straight in, because the best kind of play here is to normal summon Rod, get our search out, then activate Circle, look at our 3. And then it also helps with our reasoning as well. So we've kind of got the ability there. So if we normal summon Rod, I would probably say at this moment, the biggest issue is at this moment in time, we're going to be getting rid of Magician's Rod. So we can either go for Illusion Magic, which is the hope that our reasoning gets called in correctly, and then obviously we get to special summon one. Or off a Circle, we get into a... well, usually this is how it works, is that once you've added Illusion, you activate Circle and you draw into a Dark Magician. So, anyway, let's shuffle that up. We're then going to activate Circle. Now, what you've got to remember is Circle cannot be Ghost Ogred. It can be Ashed, but it can't be Ghost Ogred when you activate it, because it already happened. It's not already face up when it activates. Its effect is an on activation effect, but it can be, the banished effect can be Ghost Ogred. Anyway, so our 3 will be Chocolate, Eternal Soul, and Dark Magician Girl. So we'll add Eternal Soul there. Now, we don't really want those, to be totally honest with you, not in our hand right this minute, but we know what reasoning is going to give us. So, actually thinking about it, we might want to rearrange. Reasoning, if our opponent calls it incorrectly, obviously we'll end up with a Chocolate Magician Girl on board. Now, she won't be as defensive, but after using Illusion Magic, getting rid of a Magician's Rod, we would then have a target engraved for Chocolate to use. So, what we'll do is we'll activate Reasoning. Now, all we're going to do is roll the dice. This is just pure luck. It's obviously 1 to 6, so 7 will never get hit. I hit a 4. So because in that scenario they would be right, Chocolate goes to graveyard, and that kind of sucks a little bit, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. Now, in this scenario that we're now in, I would personally say, set your Illusion Magic, set your Eternal Soul, and set your Navigation. Do not worry about this, because we know we're going to be drawn into a Dark Magician Girl, which at this moment in time isn't really worth it. It's not helping us out. So we're better off holding off on that. During our opponent's turn, these are kind of the parts where you can drag out MSTs and Twin Twisters, but you would have to preemptively activate Illusion Magic, because then if they target this, that's fine, you let it go. If they target this, you chain it and get a Dark Magician. But obviously if you do it too late, you won't have a Dark Magician in hand to resolve. So, activate Illusion Magic, add your 2 Dark Magicians to your hand, and then you basically play the waiting game with your opponent. As soon as they go to do something damaging to you, so the issue with Dark Magical Circle is because it's a chain late, it really doesn't matter. There's no point in rushing it. So, for example, what I mean is, there's no point in going, oh, I've now added these to hand, after resolution I'm going to activate Navigation, because you don't really gain a lot. You're better off waiting for your opponent to either activate Twin Twister and go, right, I'm going to target these 2, because if you were to go Navigation, drop a Dark Magician on board and whatever else you want to drop on it, and then go Effective Circle, they could then just go chain Twin Twister from hand. So you're best waiting until they hit the battle phase when they're going to cause you some damage, or if they're already going to destroy these 2, or your Navigation itself. That's when you kind of really want to use it. There's no point in using it at any point before that. But anyway, now your Navigation is live, so is your Eternal Soul, so you could technically end the board with 2 Dark Magicians and an Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl and a Dark Magician in hand, or you just hold on to a Dark Magician. Because you've got the knowledge, your best kind of play in this scenario would be to activate the Navigation, special summon out your Dark Magician, and then special summon out from your deck your Magician of Dark Illusion. Now the reason for this is, again, I'll play through a little bit more just so you guys can kind of see, because I've said this before as well. So shuffle the deck up, we're going to draw for our turn, Dark Magician, that's absolutely fine. But now, what we're going to do is we're going to activate Spellbook of Knowledge, tribute off Dark Magician, draw 2, and then because this all happens to chain late, it's really, really cool because you go, because you've activated a spell, Magician of Dark Illusions effect, revive Dark Magician. So we've just got a 3+2. Then on a separate chain, Dark Magical Circle will go off, banishing one of our opponent's cards. Excellent. And then we've kind of got plays in our hands there. So yes, it's a shame we've just used Knowledge and we've got this, but we can activate this to deck thing, get another Knowledge out. We can normal summon an Apple Girl if you want to, or you can hold on to it, entirely up to you. You can activate an Eternal Soul and bring Dark Magician out and go into a rank 7. Again, from then on, it is entirely up to you. But I just wanted to show you the small combo with thingy. Obviously, we then had the ability, after we've activated Circle, we could then tribute off Dark Magician to add Rod, and then you can use the Eternal Soul to keep Dark Magician in hand and revive the one from Graveyard. So it just shows you what the deck can do. You've just got to remember when the chains are, because everything activates a chain late. Sometimes it's really, really good in the sense of Dark Magic, the Magician of Dark Illusion, because it happens after the chains. It means technically you can special summon it after you've activated like Strike or Warning. Whereas in Circle's effect, because it's a chain late, it just gives your opponent more time to disrupt it and get rid of it. Anyway, now our final test hand going first. We'll show you what we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very straightforward on this one. Let's go straight up with the Spellbooker Secret, and we're going to deck things straight away. And we're going to go straight into our knowledge. We're going to normal summon our Rod, and Rod is going to search us out a Dark Magical Circle. Now, you could have searched out Illusion Magic. And my biggest issue with searching out Illusion Magic when I don't have Dark Magical Circle on board is all you're already doing is you're kind of flooding the board with your monsters, which is fine. But you kind of want Circle. Circle is always kind of your #1 target with Magician's Rod. It's entirely up to you and how you would like to play that one, but of course we can do Circle. Circle will reveal us a Chocolate Girl, a Magician Dark Illusion, and a Spellbook Secrets. Now, to be totally honest, again, you don't really want any of those straight off of knowledge. Obviously, if you do knowledge, you could draw into those two, but you've got no ways of getting these guys out. So it's not the worst of hands, but it's not the best of hands. So by doing so, if you put those back, obviously I would rather have Chocolate Magician Girl as my next draw. So what we'll do is we can continue to play it out as we want, and then you've kind of got the options here. If you think your opponent's just going to nuke your Rod or Regeki or whatever, you can obviously Spellbook Knowledge to speed up the process, because in this scenario, what we've seen is we're kind of at a downslope. We're not in the best of paces with what we've got on board. So it's entirely up to you. What we'll do, just to play it through, is we'll activate Knowledge to speed up, obviously, our draw engines. Now, we pass our opponent and hope we don't get OTK'd. And then coming back to us, we'll go into Secrets, activate Secrets to get out our second Knowledge. Where are we? Spellbook Knowledge. The best way to go is to normal summon your Chocolate Magician Girl. Now, Chocolate Magician Girl's already got a target engraved. It's entirely up to you. You can send your Legion, or you can send your Magician of Dark Illusion. Now, it's really dependent on if you feel you're going to draw into a trap off of it, or because if you feel you're going to draw into a trap, you're better off holding him in hand. If you think it's not going to be a trap, then you're better off putting him in grave. But our safety one is we'll go with Legion, and we'll draw 1. Hello, Legion. And then we'll activate our Knowledge and draw 2. Apple and Kiwi. So again, we haven't really plussed too much on that one. That's kind of a disappointing test hand on that one. But, you know, if the deck was perfect every single time, it would be a busted deck. That's just the decks in general, not just this one. Okay, so let's start being a bit more aggressive. Let's show what the deck can do offensively. So, our first test hand of 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, quite interesting. Do we want the draws or do we want the circle? I personally think the circle is more important than the draws right now. So we're going to activate Secret and we're going to go into Knowledge. We'll then obviously normal summon Rod, and Rod's effect will get me a circle. Then we'll activate Circle, looking at our top 3 cards. So Secrets we don't really want, Itemize we don't really need, and Navigation is going to get added to our hand regardless. So about these two, to be totally honest, we don't need them. So there's no point in activating our Spellbook of Knowledge right now. I would much rather go Reasoning. So by Reasoning, again, we'll roll the dice. Oh, just out of camera. I'll roll it back into camera. It was a 4, but I'll roll it back into camera so you see. There you go, so 2. So start milling until we hit a monster. So Kiwi. So Kiwi's going to come straight to field for us. Okay, so now that we've kind of cleared off the dead cards that we don't really want right there, Knowledge is now again obviously active. So if we activate Knowledge and get rid of Rod or Kiwi, entirely up to you. Obviously because we're being more offensively, you're probably better off just going attack for 16, attack for 18, or whatever your opponent's got. Try and do as much damage as you can. Then activate Knowledge and put in Rod in Grave, because Rod has the revival effect, and you draw 2. And going into obviously a second Dark Magical Circle, which gives us more playtime next turn, and then we kind of go like this. So during our next turn, what we'll do is we'll kind of play through this a little bit. We'll draw into an apple, and then we can normal summon Chocolate. We can use Chocolate's effect to pitch one of the girls, but I'd rather wait. Activate Circle to see what we're going into. So Duality, a Navigation, and an Apprentice. So we'll add the Navigation to hand. We'll put the Apprentice above the Duality, and then we'll use Chocolate Magician Girl's effect to pitch the berry to give us our Apprentice. Then we'll use Apprentice's effect to pitch Navigation. Now this is important. By pitching the Navigation, obviously we get Apprentice to board. We then get to use her effect to search us out a Dark Magician. Now by setting this Navigation, basically during our opponent's turn, if our Navigation goes through, because we pitch that Navigation this turn, our Dark Magician has a negate, which is really, really important to negate the back rows. And then obviously from then, our Eye of Timaeus can then extend a little bit further. But that, again, that was going into our second turn. Let's show you what else this deck can do. So we've got 2 more test stands going in second. Kind of see what they can pull off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That wasn't shuffled really well, was it? Let's redo that. It wasn't the worst of hands, because obviously you had Rod to go into circle, and then okay, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, not too bad. Let's see what we would put Duality into first, I think. Let's go Magician's Rod. Rod searches out a circle. Circle is then going obviously to do his shenanigans. Where are you, Circle? I bet they're all clumped together. No. Activate Circle. Circle's effect. Reveal our top 3. Eternal Soul. Eye of Timaeus. Why can't you be searchable? And Kiwi. So obviously we're going to add Eternal Soul to hand. If we want to activate obviously Pot of Duality, we know what we're going to be going into. So to be totally honest, you're probably best going for Pot of Duality, and obviously we know what that's going to reveal: an Eye of Timaeus and a Dark Magician Girl, Kiwi and Dark Magician Girl. To be totally honest, out of this 3, you're probably better off taking Eye of Timaeus for your setup play for next turn. Obviously these go back into the deck and get shuffled, and then we've got an Eternal Soul that we can use during our opponent's turn that will give us a Dark Magician, that in turn again will disrupt our opponent. I would say set your Illusion Magic, because if your opponent does nuke your Eternal Soul, you can chain that, clear off your Dark Magician that you've just brought out, you know, go through that way. And then obviously we've got another Rod that we can normal summon next turn to get us what else we need, like a Navigation or anything, and then we've got Dark Burning Magic should we get a Dark Magician Girl to board. So the big downside with all Dark Magician deck is they do all require a turn setup. They unless you play stuff like Dark Magic Veil and more cards that special summon like that turn, it's always going to need a setup turn because of the amount of spells and traps. The Card of Demise variant is quite nice as well. I like that, but it does mean you lower your navigations and you don't play any hair traps or anything like that. Anyway, okay, so our final test stand of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 5, sorry. 6. Boy. Ooh, that makes a big difference. Okay, so let's start this up by going. I want to hold on to that just in case. Let's activate our Dark Magical Circle. So we've got Dark Magician, an Eternal Soul, and a Sage Stone. Like, I mean, come on. When do we ever see openings like that? Sage Stone is really, really cool, but because we've already got an Eternal Soul, it might be better taking the Dark Magician. Because it will take us at least a turn to get Dark Magician go on board. So we'll take Dark Magician. Now, obviously, We could normal summon Chocolate Girl and add straight away our Sage Stone, but I personally think we're better off activating Spellbook of Secrets and shuffling them up. So we'll go with adding our knowledge. Now Kiwi's obviously quite a nice hand trap to Chocolate, because it will take Chocolate from 16 to 19. I believe. Anyway, so then we'll normal summon our Chocolate Magician Girl. Now we can use her effect to pitch one of our spellcasters. Now ideally, because we've got Eternal Soul, you could pitch Dark Magician, and then it wouldn't be the end of the world. And we'll draw into a Sage Stone. This deck is weird. Anyway, so we'll go into battle phase, we'll do our damage of 16 if we can, then we'll move into main phase 2, activate our Spellbook of Knowledge and draw 2 more. Navigation and Magician Dark Illusion. Why? I should have kept that Dark Magician in hand, but you can't foresee these type of things. Anyway, you'd set your Eternal Soul, you would set your Navigation, you'd go to your opponent's turn and you would activate Eternal Soul to revive the Dark Magician from your graveyard. Now, this is something else that's really, really important that I'll kind of show you guys now. Should my opponent all of a sudden just go, right, I'm going to activate MST, Twin Twist or whatever, destroy my Eternal Soul, Eternal Soul in turn destroys Dark Magician. Once Eternal Soul's effect activates, it's a trap effect that activates to destroy the board, or destroy your board, you go, cool, after that effect has resolved, Special Magician of Dark Illusion. And you've got defense there, so it's always a nice little backup to kind of have him, and kind of go from there. And then, next turn, no matter what we draw, Legion, whatever, obviously Legion is a 1 card, you can kind of just go normal summon Legion, tribute off, go into that, Legion's effect, search you out a Dark Magician. Actually, I'm going to do it while we're here. Legion searches you out a Dark Magician. We'll activate Sage Stone on Dark Magician Girl to special summon Dark Magician. Effect of Circle to banish one of our opponent's cards. Then we can activate Navigation, special summon Dark Magician, and then in turn special summon Apprentice Illusion if you want to have Apprentice Illusion there. And then we have rank 6 plays. So let's say our opponent's got monsters on board. This would be really, really cool, is you overlay Dark Magician Girl and Apprentice Illusion Magician, and you go into one of the very few times you use it, number 39 Utopia Beyond. You've just turned all your opponent's monsters to 0. You've got an attack of 25 there, 21 there, 25 there, 3k there. That is game already. And then if your opponent wants to do anything during your next turn, you've got Navigation that you can banish and negate. And then obviously if you wanted to keep those on board, you could do. But that just gives you the options. So yeah, I have murmured on quite a bit there. I hope this is kind of giving you an idea of what the deck can do. It's a lot more for fun than it is for all-out competitiveness, but with a few tweaks and up in the consistency that tad bit more, you could easily make this deck a really, really fun and possibly surprising contender. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, I do these videos to kind of like help myself learn the deck a bit more, because it's always nice to test hand anyway. It's always one thing that I do highly recommend for you guys is testing online helps out massively, because it kind of gives you sometimes the rule-ins. It kind of helps you go, oh well, does that card do that, or what happens when that card does that? And online helps you get them rule-ins a little bit. Obviously, sometimes they can be wrong. But then what I also like to do is I like to have the feel of the cards in the hand. I like to feel the ratios of the shuffling. And then I don't want to always rely on the computer to automate. So once I know what type of outcomes the card effects have, I like to be able to do it myself so that I know the combos I'm playing, rather than the computer going, oh, would you like to special summon this? I need to try and remember it myself. So as a kind of a tip for you guys to kind of get better at Yu-Gi-Oh! Or to kind of learn the game a little bit more, is always test hand decks. And another big advice as well is to test hand the decks that are in the meta currently. So if you're like, I can't afford spirals, that's fine. Go and print out proxy to the spirals, make a proxy deck, and test hand it yourself. Because once you understand that deck, you'll know when you can interrupt it and when you should interrupt it. And it kind of helps you out a little bit more as well. So not only knowing your deck, but know your opponent's deck as well. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a couple of ideas. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time guys, as always, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.